Can we talk about an issue that has been ongoing for decades now, and it surprises me we still have to have this conversation, yet here we are, fresh off the back of August, which was Women's Month, and women in this country still paid less than men. In fact, around the globe, actually. They also have fewer opportunities for career advancement. Here's the problem. Welcome to 2021. Things should be different, and we live in a country whose constitutions guarantee gender equality, but that's not the situation on the ground. Let's bring in momentum on this, and they've launched a campaign to empower women. Let's discuss with Charlotte Nsubuga-Mukasa, head of brand marketing at Momentum. And Charlotte, good morning to you. And you know, it takes an organisation like yours to come out and come up with a campaign that government should have been putting into place all these years ago. But as you heard in my introduction, here we are in 2021, and we're still glossing over the fact that women are paid less and don't get the same career opportunities. Tell me a little bit, if you could, about the She Owns Her Success campaign.
Thank you so much, Gareth, for having me on your show. Good morning to all your listeners. I'm still inspired and motivated by August. You know, the hashtag She Owns Her Success workshops were held earlier this year in August in a digital format and open to all South Africans for the first time. So it was the third time that we're running this workshop, but primarily aimed to empower women with practical tools and advice that would catapult or leapfrog their efforts in achieving financial success. But, you know, similar to the inspiration of Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles, the hashtag She Owns Her Success platform also became an opportunity to celebrate, yes, the can-do spirit of women who embrace their failures and who are determined to get onto their journey to success. But it was also a mix of bringing in the New York bestseller Lavia Jai Jones to outline what success means to you, because we all define it differently, let's face it. But we brought in a mix of external psychologists, coaches, businesswomen, and financial advisors who spoke about some of the barriers that are holding us from overcoming success, like old or legacy practices at work, expected behavioral norms in society, burnout. But in this case, they gave a few tools on how to find structures of support when you can't do it all. And lastly, we had workshop segments that spoke to personal branding and how to turn imposter syndrome at work into personal confidence. And our financial advisors also spoke to how to build a financial legacy for your kids by speaking about all the taboo topics that we're sometimes afraid to address with our families or our loved ones at the dinner table.
I suppose one of the biggest issues as well is we can have all the personal developments in the world, and I don't think anyone's going to disagree with how it's being done. The issue still comes in with the gender pay gap, isn't it? And career advancement is we're trying to take on these large corporates, and that kind of change needs to start at the top, doesn't it? How do we deal with that? As a woman in this country, Charlotte, I'm sure that you've got an opinion on that. Where do we begin solving that problem?
Yes, I definitely do have an opinion on it. And the irony is it was our most attended workshop. It was titled, one was titled No is a Full Sentence, and then the other one was titled Negotiate the Pay That You Deserve. I have experienced very challenging times where culturally I've been taught to show up in a particular way, and asking for what it is that I deserve given my contribution is not easy. I haven't been given the tools. I don't even know how to start the conversation. So part of the hashtag She Owns Her Success workshop was to say, how do you start with the conversation? How do you prepare for the conversation? When the conversation gets tough, what are your fallback, a top 3 points that you need to be able to have available for you to continue the conversation? Because a lot of times we exit the conversation when it gets difficult or emotionally it gets a bit trying. So part of putting these practical workshops together is not just about having another Women's Day event. It's about saying, come to the workshop, do the work, but bring a pen and pencil and take down those advice and tools from people and women who've actually been in the same position that you've been in before.
Before I start letting you go, Charlotte, help me understand, for anyone watching now, whether it's a woman, whether it's a man, they want to see this workshop that you're talking about or get involved in the next ones coming up. Where do we start sending people? Because I think the more people we can have taking part in these conversations, especially men, by the way. Men need to start owning this rubbish. Then you start getting involved as well. Where are we sending people?
So I first want to say that as Momentum, we do understand that we can pull our resources together to acknowledge and celebrate the strides that women are making in society. But we can also use these platforms to challenge society to evaluate our unconscious biases. And we can use these platforms to emphasize and enable the position of women, both in the work and personal spaces, while still encouraging, creating a community of allies, I call them, with men to overcome some of these barriers. So you can go to Men and Women, that is www.momentum.co.za, and we've curated a hashtag She Owns a Success knowledge resource hub where you can get the workshop if you've missed it, so you can watch it again. We've got tools, we've got advice. We're going to be inspiring people every single month. We're going to update that resource hub. So we're encouraging even our competitors to go in there, because we understand we are one but many corporates that are contributing to the solution and the solve that is women. So let's do our part and go to www.momentum.co.za and see what is out there for your journey to success.
Yeah, let's talk about that journey of success as well. Before I let you go, if we're going to call on corporates, Charlotte, if you're going to ask corporates to come out and do their part as well, is there a gender pay gap at Momentum?
You know what? I'm so glad that you asked. I would like to invite journalists to get in touch with our PR team. We've got the facts ready. We wouldn't be so bold and go out there and lobby and talk about the topic of gender pay gaps and create these workshops if we ourselves weren't putting in the work. So if you're keen to get in touch with us to see how we are solving, I call it 4X, and putting in the work to narrow the gender pay gap at Momentum Metropolitan Holdings, please do get in touch with us. We are willing to have the conversation and we are ready.
I actually just clicked what you meant by solving for X. That's actually very clever. That's actually very clever, Charlotte. Well, that's very, very clever indeed. It's from Momentum this morning, Head of Brand Marketing. Good to have you with us as we talk about the closing of the gender pay gap. It's 2021. I don't know how we're still talking about this, but here we are, trying to find solutions. Charlotte Nsubuga-Mukasa, Head of Brand Marketing at Momentum.